The woman America invited into its living rooms every Monday night, the one who made millions, how with laughter just by raising an eyebrow or delivering a perfectly timed sigh, that same woman carried a hatred so white-hot that for the last 30 years of her life, she refused to let one man's name cross her lips. Not in interviews, not in private letters, not even when she was alone. She wouldn't write it. She wouldn't speak it. If someone else dared say it in her presence, she either changed the subject or simply left the room. Most people think they know everything there is to know about I Love Lucy. They think it's nothing but chocolate factories, grape stomping, and four friends who genuinely adored each other. But behind the canned laughter and the Vida Mea te Vega min, something far uglier was playing out in real time. Something the cast, the crew, and the network spent half a century trying to keep quiet. Because the truth is, Vivian Vance, sweet, hilarious, eternally lovable Ethel Mertz, despised her on-screen husband with an intensity that shocked everyone who witnessed it. And William Frawley? He gave it right back, day after day, year after year, until the hostility between them became one of the worst-kept secrets in television history. This wasn't playful bickering. This wasn't, oh, they're just like the characters they play. This was two people who, if they'd had their way, would have happily gone the rest of their lives without ever laying eyes on each other again. It's almost impossible to picture Vivian Vance, that warm, hilarious, instantly endearing woman, holding on to a grudge so fierce that, decades later, she wouldn't even say her former co-star's name out loud. Yet that's precisely what happened. Beneath the non-stop laughter of I Love Lucy simmered a private fury that only grew darker with time, a bitterness she could never let go of. And once you hear the moment that finally pushed her over the edge, you'll understand why friends said Vivian never despised anyone, not one single person, the way she despised William Frawley. This isn't the cozy, feel-good nostalgia most fans remember. This is the raw story Hollywood buried for over 50 years, the spark that started the fire. When I Love Lucy began filming in 1951, Vivian Vance had no idea she was walking into a professional partnership that would both make her famous and torment her for the rest of her life. The show needed actors to play Fred and Ethel Mertz. William Frawley campaigned hard for the role, and Desi Arnaz hired him, with one ironclad rule: show up drunk even once, and you're gone. That warning alone should have been a red flag, but the real poison didn't come from the bottle. It came from the 22-year age difference. Vivian was 42, lively, attractive, at the peak of her powers. Frawley was 64, gruff, noticeably elderly, and famous for his cutting remarks. Being forced to play his wife made Vivian feel ridiculed, like the whole world was laughing at her for being stuck with that old geezer. In rehearsals, she was overheard complaining, "Who's going to buy me as the wife of that old man?" Frawley heard her. He never forgot it. She never forgave the casting. On top of that, the producers deliberately deglamorized her. Baggy dresses, no makeup tricks, so Lucille Ball could shine as the beautiful star. To Vivian, it felt less like acting and more like being locked in a role that erased the real woman she was. A marriage on screen, a war off screen. That first insult cracked something that could never be repaired. What started as quiet resentment quickly turned into all-out cold warfare that the entire crew could feel. Frawley fired the opening shot. Already known for a vicious temper when his pride was hurt, Vivian's comment wounded him deeply. Crew members remembered him snarling, "She thinks she's too pretty for me? We'll see how far that big mouth gets her." From that day on, she wasn't his co-star. She was the enemy. Vivian fought back in her own icy way. No shouting, no tantrums, just total freeze-out. She stood as far away as blocking allowed, looked anywhere but at him when he spoke, and turned every kiss into the most obvious air peck the editors couldn't cut around. In the famous jail scene from Equal Rights, watch her lean away from him. The laugh wasn't scripted. The disgust was real. Frawley, meanwhile, weaponized the scripts. He'd been pals with the writers since vaudeville days and quietly encouraged new jokes that hit Vivian right where it hurt most: her looks, her desirability. Every time Ethel walked in, Fred had another brutal line. Face like a busted couch, built like a grain silo, a sack of doorknobs and a housecoat. The writers thought it was funny. Vivian knew exactly where it was coming from. Things hit rock bottom one day at a script read through. Frawley leaned over the table and spat the ugliest word a man can call a woman. The room went dead silent. Vivian went pale, got up, and didn't come back for an hour. After that, all pretense was gone. Between takes, they didn't speak. Directors scheduled them on opposite sides of the stage. Guest stars said the air literally felt colder when they were forced to stand together. And yet, ironically, their real hatred made their fake marriage electric. When Ethel sighed in exasperation, it was Vivian sighing at William. When Fred grumbled, it was Frawley grumbling at her. Critics later said the Mertzes felt like a real married couple, because in the worst way, they kind of were. The ugliest public moment came in season 3. Vivian politely asked if one particularly harsh joke about her appearance could be softened. Frawley slammed the table. "Don't like it? Quit! Nobody's keeping you here." She looked him dead in the eye and said quietly, "I show up sober every single day, Bill. Wish I could say the same for you." The room froze. Desi had to drag Frawley out and threaten to fire him. Vivian was told to keep the peace. She tried. He never did. When the show ended, the feud only got worse. Most people assume bad blood cools once a series wraps. Not for these two. If anything, losing the routine of the show removed the last reason they had to be civil. Right after I Love Lucy ended, CBS offered the Mertzes their own spin-off, a golden opportunity. Frawley jumped at it. He needed the money. Vivian's answer was immediate and non-negotiable. No. Not maybe, not let's talk, just no. The idea of doing an entire show alone with him without Lucy and Desi as buffers was unthinkable. One executive remembered her saying softly, "I can tolerate him for half an hour a week. A whole series? Never." Frawley took it as the ultimate betrayal. In his mind, she had deliberately torpedoed his last big payday. Friends heard him rage. "That woman ruined the final good job I was ever gonna get." Vivian, desperate to escape the frumpy sidekick label forever, took theater roles, guest spots, anything that didn't involve him. Reunion offers, joint interviews. She turned them all down, politely at first, then with finality. When they ended up at the same industry event, which almost never happened, crew members played human shields to keep them apart. They never acknowledged each other. They simply pretended the other person was invisible. The toast that stunned Hollywood. Time didn't heal anything, and age certainly didn't soften it. So on March 3, 1966, when word reached Vivian that William Frawley had dropped dead of a heart attack, most people expected a respectful silence, maybe a quiet, "That's sad." Instead, she raised her glass in front of friends and announced loudly, "Champagne for everybody. No pause, no regret. Just 30 years of bottled-up rage bursting out in one jaw-dropping moment." The people around her were speechless. But the ones who had lived through their war weren't surprised at all. For Vivian Vance, his death wasn't closure. It was vindication. So tell me honestly, after everything you just heard, was Vivian justified in how she felt? Or did the hatred go too far? If you love these untold classic Hollywood stories, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and press the bell icon. Thanks for watching.